it's an interesting thing for me personally because I grew up here. I left in 1990, went to graduate school in New York where I live now, and the idea of coming back to Sacramento as an artist, as a worker, was very appealing to me. Lisa Cooper, who was in here just a few minutes ago, works at Cap One Radio, and she sent me a text about the Ali Youssefi Project application. And so I read it, and I've been to a few other artist residencies around the world, and I recognized that this was really a good one. So I applied. I gave it my best shot, and I got selected.
I first heard about the program through some friends who posted it on Instagram. And so I decided to apply, and what attracted me to the program was I'm relatively new to Sacramento, and I did my master's in art at UC Davis, and I was always interested in what was happening at Verge, and so when I saw that there was a residency program at Verge, I decided to apply. I thought it was a really great opportunity to get to know people in the community and to develop my work.
Well, all of my work is about the social conditions of labor. I've done a lot of projects in different places around the world that have to do with workers, the social conditions of work. This piece is about railroad history. It's called Leland's, after Leland Stanford. This is the 150-year anniversary of the completion of the Transcontinental Railroad and the under-recognition of the Chinese workers. And the he's part of that 900%, obviously. Like, he didn't care about the workers until they made him a wealthy man and go on to start Stanford University. Our country is built on a lot of slavery, genocide, a lot of very, very dark things, and this is an example of it. So this is a railroad spike, 22 karat gold leaf. This is the Wall Street Journal financial pages, and it's called Leland. These are material bags that I got in Vacaville, and these bags are used to hold, in this case, walnuts, different small items that a single person could manage these bags. So I've sewn them together, and I learned this process of de-weaving the bags. They're synthetic material, and I started de-weaving them, taking them apart. And this process of de-weaving has become a kind of metaphor for thinking about the history of the region, the decolonization history, how this area was colonized, workers were exploited, natives were moved off the land. On the bottom here, this is human hair, and I use it in my work. The hair is a symbolic material. It talks about eternity. Hair is to a person what wings are to a bird, and hair will take you to the next world symbolically. So the idea is that labor will always be part of existence on some level. There will always be a need for labor.
So Michael and I have an exhibition in December, and I work a lot with the environment in California. So I'm not a native of California, so I've been really interested in the ecology here. So my work is just examining human migration and how our actions and enterprises and migrations transform our landscape. And when I learned that 90% of the grasses we have here in California are non-native or potentially invasive, I was really curious to know what the landscape looked like before it was changed. And so I decided, and my background is in drawing, which is something I've been returning to very recently, which was kind of a surprise to me actually, during this residency that kind of returned. But I decided to do a drawing in the landscape, so I cut a 600-foot line in the landscape. I removed all the biomass along that line. You can't actually see the whole line in this photo, but and then I kind of learned a lot about myself and the land during this project. So I worked on this project for 9 months up until my thesis, and actually I'm still working on this project, trying to reintroduce native plants into this hillside. And the rest of the work kind of stemmed off from my experiences working in this place, because it turns out that the land that I was working on was the site of a mining town, which is now gone. But I found these old images from the 1860s of what the town looked like before, and the line that I drew is on the hill just on the other side of this little valley. So at some point it was overlooking this town that was supported by the mining industry. Yeah, these are drawings of the gold mine that is located near the site where I originally created the line in the landscape, and it's being decommissioned. So it's part of a huge ecological restoration project where the mining company is collaborating with ecologists and the UC reserve system to reintegrate native plants and regrade the mine back into more of the natural forms of the hills that were there beforehand. So I'm really interested in this idea of the things that we consume and how that impacts the environment, but then also kind of the act of restoration and repair afterwards. It's been great. I love it. I love my studio. I really enjoyed getting to know Michael and the other artists who are here. And it's been a really productive time for me.
I'm into my second month. It's going great. I come here every day and work. I live at Wall, and I have a very lovely, fabulous place to live. And this studio has worked out really well for me.